Hey y'all, I'm just coming on for a moment. I wanted to let you know that tonight's episode of What the Friday is actually going to be a rewind from last year's April Fool's Day episode. I woke up with a sore throat. I believe it's allergies. But I want y'all to sit back and just listen to an old episode. And I'm sorry it's not a brand new one. Y'all have a good day.
The past few episodes have been kind of dark and grim, so I thought I'd lighten it up some this week and talk about the funnier moments of the parents.
Tell this episode's going to be funny already. I'm ecstatic.
Of the paranormal life. I don't know what just tickled me, cracked me up, but anyway, let's keep going. Now, believe it or not, spirits sometimes have a sense of humor. Maybe it was a ghost making me laugh. And the one that lives with us is no exception.
Mystery, murder,
Now, before we really get far into this episode, I need to remember to stop looking at Alex because I think that's why I crack up most of the time. But before we get too far, I just want to say thank you because as of today, we've hit over 3,200 downloads. So I think that's pretty awesome, don't you, Alex?
Yeah, this is pretty awesome, and you're still looking at me, so you're about to laugh right now.
You're right. Now, the house that we live in belonged to my grandparents. I'm not sure what year they moved in, but I do know that it was before 1950 because my mom was born here. The house is one that was built when J.P. Stevens built their cotton mill here in town in the early 1900s. The mill village popped up around the area, providing homes for the employees of the mill. My sister Jody and I, we spent a lot of time as kids in this house with my grandparents because my mom was a single mom who worked the night shift at the mill, and she didn't want to leave us at home alone. We'd spend the nights at my papa and Mamie's house. Mm-hmm. Then they'd get us up and get us ready for school the next morning. And it was during breakfast that I had my first experiences with a spirit. Now, I can remember I was very young. I'm not sure exactly how old, but I know that it was early elementary school. But I was sitting at the kitchen table eating my breakfast, and I see something out of the corner of my eye at the doorway to the kitchen. I would turn my head to see this nearly full-body apparition of what, to me, appeared to be a young girl watching us. After seeing her for a few seconds, she would cover her mouth like she was laughing, and soon she'd disappear. And this wasn't a one-time deal either. It would happen often. Now, my sister is the exact opposite of me. I mean, as different as night and day and me being the night. But one thing she will admit to when it comes to the subject of paranormal is seeing that little spirit. Now, I would say that little spirit is probably around the age of 12 or 13, just judging from her appearance. And she's wearing a dress that looks like it could have been from around the late 1800s. And I've looked into the history of the house and found no deaths that had occurred here at any time. But then again, the house isn't, from that time period. So I don't know, what could have happened or what attracted her here. And I've also been told that the property that a lot of these houses on this block are built on used to be a cemetery, but I can't find anything that supports that information either. But anyway, as I grew up, I continued to see her. She would always be in that same area of the house, right in the hallway, coming towards the kitchen. And I do have to admit that the hallway always seems like it's a few degrees cooler. Have you ever noticed that, Alex?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, when you walk through that hallway, you can feel a noticeable temperature drop. Yeah, and do you remember how when we had Eddie, the little Jack Russell terrorist, that he would stand and bark, like, looking down the hall.
Yeah. He did that a lot.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I guess he sensed something too. Now, I don't know why, like I said, she chose this house or the hallway as her favorite place to hang out. Now, after my grandmother died, we moved into this house. And it wasn't very long before we, and especially me, started noticing that things would go missing and then later show up in places that I knew I hadn't left them. The first time I remember this happening was right after we moved into the house and we were getting ready to go to Myrtle Beach. I was packing my stuff and I had bought a brand new pair of flip-flops for that vacation. But when I got ready to put them in my suitcase, I couldn't find them anywhere. They were like nowhere to be seen. And I mean nowhere, because I checked under the bed several times. I dug through the trash thinking maybe somehow they had gotten thrown away by accident. I even checked in the car because I was thinking, well, maybe they fell out of the bag from Walmart or something in the trunk. They were not anywhere. So I finally just gave up on those shoes. And when we were leaving to go to the beach that day, I just stopped and got a new pair. Well, we enjoyed our week away. And when we came back, guess what the first thing was that I saw when I went into my bedroom, Alex?
What was it, Mom? Don't look at me like that.
I don't like your attitude.
Sorry.
It was those freaking flip-flops. I am not lying. They were sitting on top of my bed. And, I wouldn't put shoes on top of my bed, okay? Even though they were brand new. They went, like, under the bed, beside the bed, but on top of the bed. And they were kind of up like where my pillows were. And I know for a fact they were not there when we left the house the week before. And she seems to like girly stuff most, because I've had makeup just disappear out of my makeup bag. When I wash dishes, I always lay my rings up in the windowsill. And I don't always remember to put them back on when I get finished. So when I finally remember to go back to get my rings out of the window, they're gone. And days later, they'll show up somewhere that I know I didn't put them. One time I found them in the medicine cabinet in the bathroom, like sitting beside my toothbrush. And I'm like, I would not put my rings there. But, and like the little crystals that I have, especially I've got a really pretty piece of obsidian, and it disappears and shows back up later. And I know they say that, like, with crystals, they'll disappear when they've served their purpose, but these always show back up, and they're always in some kind of weird place. I don't get it. Now, I recently got that spirit box.
Yeah, she looks very cool.
Yeah.
Fancy.
But she just don't want to talk to me, or she don't want to talk to me yet. But I'm going to keep trying. Yeah, she don't like it.
She don't like it.
She don't want to talk to this weird southern woman. I'm going to keep trying, though. I don't want to piss her off, because, so far she's not really caused any real issues, and she's kind of comical. And every time I've asked her to return something, she's always left it laying somewhere that I can find it, but not everywhere I left it. And it just seems that she's got a sense of humor. And I should also add that since grandmother died, I haven't seen grandmother, but I smell her sometimes. And I think you have too, Alex. When she would get out of the bath, when she was still alive, she'd always use, it wasn't shower to shower, but it was some kind of bath powder. And that's what I smell, is her bath powders. And no one in this house uses any of that. And so I find it kind of comforting to know that she stops in to check on us. Well, I got thinking that if we have a prankster spirit here, there's got to be more like out there. So my quest this week has been finding other such stories to bring to y'all today. But I didn't come across that many. So I was kind of sad, because I thought, well, if our little ghost plays tricks, somebody else has got a ghost playing tricks. Now, I did find up in Eastport, New York, there's an antique store called Lloyd's Antiques. And Lloyd's great-great-great-great-uncle Levi is Levi's spirit. He likes to hang out there at that antique store. And Lloyd says that his uncle was a prankster back in the day when he was alive, and it seems he continues to be in the afterlife. Now listen to this, Alex. He's been known to tip over tables in the antique store, knock things off shelves, and he even once, and this is funny, okay, he even once told a customer that a $400 table was only $65.
It's kind of cheap.
Like, he changed the price. And so Lloyd ended up selling that table for $65 just so he didn't piss his uncle's ghost off. Now, there's been some paranormal investigators, at least one anyway, that went and checked out the place, and he did get some EVP recordings. When, you know, and they say most of the stuff happens like in an upstairs showroom that they have in that antique store. Another thing that I found kind of related to this is it's like a European folklore creature, and it's called the boggart.
The boggart?
Boggart. Yes. They're shape-shifting.
The boggart.
I gotta stop looking at you. They're shape-shifting household spirits that play harmless pranks on the people who live in the houses they inhabit. Their most common form is humanoid, and they have long hair, long arms, and a face only their mothers could love. Now, the tale says that you shouldn't name them, like give them a name like they named him Dobby the house elf or whatever. I don't think he was a boggart though, but you shouldn't name them because if you name them, they become destructive. Boggarts will follow a family. Boggarts will follow a family to every house that they move to, so you can't really get away from them. And now in some areas of Europe, they believe that boggarts were once silkies or brownies, which are kind of like little fairies, who had been offended or treated badly, and then they turned into the boggarts.
Boggarts.
It's like a form of yogurt. It's a boggart.
I need some yogurt now.
But like I said at the beginning of the show, I want to keep this episode light, so I'm switching gears a little bit. And so, you know, we're coming up on April Fool's Day. Well,
Hey, I know that day.
yeah, because you know what? It's your birthday.
My birthday. I turned 18.
Yeah,
I'm
so
an adult.
Alex is turning 18, and I'm going to take right now the opportunity to tell him happy birthday.
Thank you, Mom. Even though we're going to say it again Thursday, but still.
Well, I'll probably say it many times
Probably
Thursday.
will.
But yep, he was born on April Fool's Day, and fortunately, he hasn't been pranked too badly on his big, his day over the years.
Okay, no. Never mind. Okay.
Now, this birthday, like we said, is one of those milestones. He's turning 18, and this leaves me one child who isn't an adult at this point.
Dang.
Your little brother Nick is my only
That's
minor.
tough.
So it's y'all that's getting old, not me.
That's what they all say.
Now, the night before you were born, the doctor came in my hospital room, and he told me that he was doing a C-section in the morning. And I was excited because you'd finally be here, because at that point I had already been in the hospital for an entire week because my blood pressure kept spiking. And every day they tried to induce labor, and you were stubborn and you just didn't want to come out. So that night the doctor comes in and he's like, we're doing a C-section in the morning. I was like, cool. Then I got thinking, tomorrow's April Fool's Day. He's playing with me. He's probably going to make me go through another day of labor. But no, you actually came on April Fool's Day. And that same doctor, he kept telling me, oh, he's going to be an average sized baby. He's not going to be big. But, it was like, moms just know these things when they're pregnant. And I was right. I knew you were going to be a big baby. And you were 9 pounds and 6 ounces.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. And so the doctor, he acted shocked by that weight. And all I could say was, I told you so. Well, when they moved you to the nursery and
Don't say this.
family was gathered
Do not
around
say
the
it.
window, everybody thought you were so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were just adorable. But anyway, here you are, almost 18, and you're about to graduate high school.
It's crazy.
I know, right? Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Now, since I mentioned that your birthday is on April Fool's Day, and in an effort to still keep this lighthearted, I thought it'd be fun to talk about April Fool's Day, like the origins. It's a day of tomfoolery and shenanigans. I love the word shenanigans.
That's fancy.
But did you ever wonder why on earth an entire day is dedicated to pranking our friends and family? we all knew what April Fool's Day is. We play tricks on unsuspecting friends, like putting tape over the sensor on the remote, or putting bubble wrap under the rug and it pops like when they walk across it. Or you could even, like, and I'm not saying you should do this because hand sanitizer is very precious right now.
Yes, it is.
But if you replace the sanitizer in the bottle with clear school glue, imagine their faces when they get sticky hands. But anyway, why would this become a thing,
Mm-hmm.
So some historians believe that the tradition started all the way back in 1582 when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. In the Julian calendar, the new year began on April the 1st. Now, the news didn't travel fast back in those days. I mean, it was 1582. There was no internet.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people that didn't know that had changed were like still celebrating the new year like around April 1st instead of on January the 1st. When they continued celebrating the new year at the end of March and into the beginning of April, they became labeled as the April Fools and had pranks played on them. Now, April Fool's Day has also been linked to festivals such as Hilaria, which was celebrated in ancient Rome at the end of March by followers of the cult Cybele. I don't know exactly. I didn't look further into that. People would dress up in costumes and mock fellow citizens and magistrates. Now, by the 18th century, April Fool's Day has spread to Britain. And in Scotland, it was a 2-day festival, so they had a big thing about it. They started the event with something called hunting the gawk, G-O-W-K. I'm not sure if I said that right, which meant they were sent on errands that weren't real. And I guess it's kind of like how people say hunting for snipe, I guess. But that was followed by Taily Day, and it was all dedicated Taily Day. It was dedicated to pranks on people's butts. They would pin fake tails and signs that said "kick me" to other people's backsides. Yeah, crazy. Kind of immature, but it's still kind of funny.
Yeah, it is.
Over the years since then, it's evolved into what it is today and has its own unofficial set of rules. And one of those rules is that all pranking ends by noon that day, and if anyone who tries to pull a prank after that time, they'll meet bad luck. And if those who are pranked don't receive pranks with humor, like if they don't laugh about it, they'll have bad luck too. And another, it's not really a rule, but I guess it's just like, I don't know, I guess maybe a rule. It said that if a guy is fooled by a pretty girl on April 1st, he will soon be married to her. So if you meet your lady on April 1st, you will marry her, Alex. You don't even know what to say.
I don't know what to say about that.
Over the years, big corporations and even the news has gotten in on the pranks. Now, these are pretty funny, Alex. In 1957, this is so funny, a news show reported that, I think it was a BBC news show, I'm not sure about that. They reported that farmers in Switzerland were having bumper crops of spaghetti. And they even showed a picture of farmers picking enormous amounts of spaghetti from trees. I'm going to go and look for that picture. If I find it, I'll post it on the Facebook page. In 1985, a writer for Sports Illustrated by the name of George Plimpton ran a story claiming that a baseball pitcher named Sid Finch could throw a fastball over 186 miles per hour. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think that's even possible.
And you would throw your shoulder out, like, if you could throw that fast.
You lift the ball.
Yes. Your whole arm is just hurling toward the batter. Now, in 1996, a member of the Canadian Parliament announced on a news show called CBO Morning that the clock in Ottawa's Peace Tower was being switched to digital. And I guess that's a big deal to them. I mean, I guess you had to be there for it to be funny.
Yeah.
And this one's funny, Alex. In 1996, Taco Bell announced it had agreed to purchase the Liberty Bell. And it was going to rename it to the Taco Liberty Bell. And this one's even funnier. Burger King couldn't be outdone.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1998, they advertised the left-handed Whopper. Yeah, it's Whopper for people that use their left hands. And a lot of people fell for it, and they started showing up at Burger King ordering the left-handed burger. I mean, they didn't even get that it was an April Fool's prank. I mean, imagine pulling up to the drive-thru and you're just ordering a left-handed Whopper. I mean, when you say it, it just sounds preposterous. Can I eat this with my right hand even though it's a left-handed Whopper? But whatever you do on April Fool's Day, have fun doing it, but please don't go to Burger King expecting to order a left-handed Whopper. But if you do, please tell us about it. I'd love to hear all of the details. And you can send that to 3mpodcast3@gmail.com. Have an awesome day, y'all, and don't be pranking too much.
We're going.